Tracing outer space. Get your head around it. Profound elements, what's their place? Get your head around it. Chemical explosion, gravity in motion. Get your head around it. Get your head around it.
Hello and welcome to Scope. Today we're looking at what the future of science holds for us. Clones, robots, robot clones, maybe all three. It's exciting to think what the future might look like, and there's no time to waste. So let's teleport our way into future technologies that could save your life. Today we're in Dalby, Queensland. Teams of drone designers and programmers have travelled from all over the world to bring their UAVs here to the Australian Outback. And the tension is building. They're in search of Outback Joe. But who is Joe? And what happened to him? I've tracked down just the person to tell us. John, it's an exciting day. I can feel the nerves in the air. Could you explain to us what has happened to Outback Joe?
So Outback Joe is on his farm, which is about 10 kilometres that way, and he's got some emergency, medical emergency. He has called his doctor, and his doctor has said, I need a blood sample, but unfortunately it's been raining a lot and he's cut off by a flood. So he needs to have drones go and actually retrieve his blood.
It's pretty dry out here right now, so we're going to have to imagine that flood. But floodwaters aren't the only unseen challenge these teams are facing once their drones take off.
They've then got to fly about 20 kilometres to the farm and go through certain locations. And then we throw kind of obstacles at them. So not in reality, but they plug into a computer and we put weather in their way, artificial weather. We get hawks to attack them, artificial hawks. We put other planes kind of crossing where they're going to fly, again, artificial planes. And they have to avoid all of these things.
Wow, so it's actually going to be really difficult for them to complete the task.
Yeah, we hope so. And that's why we call it the UAV challenge, and we keep saying it is a challenge.
Oh, well, I sure hope that Outback Joe will be okay at the end of this.
I'm sure he will.
It certainly looks like Joe's in safe hands as all these teams ready their aircraft for the mission. But there's another catch. UAV does stand for unmanned or unpiloted aerial vehicle. So once they press go, it's all down to the onboard computers to complete the task. Canberra UAV have decided to release the Kraken onto this competition. And although no pilots are allowed, they've found a loophole in the rules and have a ducky in the driver's seat of their other aircraft.
What you don't see by looking at the aeroplanes behind you is that our group of very smart individuals that work lots of long nights getting all of the coding done and testing all of the things, so that all of the software, so that we know it's going to work when we get hit.
This ground control van does allow them to keep an eye on the sky even after the drones are out of sight. We've just had word that a team is ready to take flight. So your drones are out there right now. Could you explain to me why you need two?
So we need two aircraft because we need to be able to talk to both of them at the same time. The first plane is going to go a long distance away, up to 30 kilometers away, and we can't talk to it when it's on the ground looking for Joe. So we need another plane in the air in the middle, which basically acts as a relay to make sure that we can talk between the two aircraft.
Oh, that's really clever.
Yeah, we thought it's an interesting way to solve this communications problem that we have.
Meanwhile, at Outback Joe's end,
No, more for me.
don't worry, Joe, help is on the way. And our heroes have even devised a plan to avoid these artificial hawks and storms and hawk storms.
Our software basically looks at the obstacles that are coming in our way and figures out where they're going and figuring out the best way that we can swerve and dodge around them.
Okay, so you don't only need to sense that there's something there, but also go, oh, it's moving this way, so I can move.
Exactly, that's right.
There's a lot to take into account, isn't there?
There is, definitely.
Are you feeling nervous?
Oh, very nervous, to be honest. The planes are just up in the air right now, and we're about to hear if they've found Joe, so we'll find out.
With team after team taking on the task, it's a day of high hopes, tricky challenges, friendships and fun. But at the end of a big day of competition, there's one more person we really need to hear from. Yo! Oh, I'm I'm so glad you're okay. You've definitely been rescued by science and tech today and a whole lot of teamwork. Great to see, but how are you feeling? Oh, you always say that, Joe. Oh dear. Top bloke Outback, Joe. Top bloke. But now from the Outback to the deep sea and another type of autonomous machine. Deep breath.
Meet the newest AUV on the block. A team of Australian Antarctic scientists and engineers teamed up with the Australian Maritime College to build this AUV, or Autonomous Underwater Vehicle. It measures 7 metres long, weighs 1.6 tonnes, can dive 5 kilometres and travel over 140 kilometres under thick ice. This high-tech yellow submarine was tested in Australia's deepest lake, Lake St Clair, preparing for its first Antarctic mission. Antarctic ocean temperatures can get as cold as minus 1.8 degrees, so the cold depths of Lake St Clair were perfect for testing. The topography or shape of the lake was also important. Formed by glaciers, the lake's long and narrow shape replicated an ice shelf, allowing the AUV to go on a long line dive to test its sensors. The sensors will gather information about the shape of the seabed, ice formation, water life forms, temperature and salinity, and ocean currents. Scientists hope to use this information to study how the ocean affects ice shelf melting.
The future is all about automation, and you can even automate good old-fashioned fun.
Challenger ready. At the Games Arcade, the real showdowns happen at the air hockey table.
But what if you can compete against a robot?
Introducing the autonomous air hockey table. You can take on any human player in a range of modes, including a blocking mode and an attacking mode. You can also be adjusted so the mallet can return the puck at different speeds.
In order to create this robot, we started with an ordinary air hockey table.
We came up with a design that would allow the robot to move the mallet all on its own, and then assembled and installed a range of motors, gears, and pulley systems. We also added a computer to act as the robot's brain, and a high-speed camera so the robot could see what was happening during each battle.
So how does this autonomous robot work exactly?
Well, it all begins with this.
This camera is similar to a normal video camera, but it's able to record images at a higher speed. It instantly sends the vision to the computer, which analyzes the images in real time to identify the location of the puck and mallet.
The computer then compares where the puck currently is to its previous position.
This allows the system to work out the puck's speed, so it can calculate where the puck will end up. It also checks where the mallet is, so it can work out how far the mallet needs to move. It does all of this 50 times a second.
From here, the information is passed to 2 microcontrollers, which act like mini computers.
They tell the 3 electric motors where to move the mallet, so the robot can return a shot and attempt to score a goal.
We're planning on adding more features to make the robot even better.
This includes an adaptive mode, which would allow the mallet to return the puck at a similar speed to the human player, and AI, or artificial intelligence, so the robot could attack the human player's weakest areas of defense.
It's a new take on air hockey that really puts your skills to the test.
Coming up on Scope's Blast into the Future, we've got boring old time travel. But that's nothing compared to a building made of mushrooms. What? Everyone loves mushrooms. No? Welcome back to Scope, where we've left the past and the present behind us and we're firing ourselves into the future. We in the science game prefer the noble plasma ball to the crystal ball, but that doesn't mean we can't gaze around the corner to see what's coming next. In fact, anyone can predict the future, just a tiny bit, even you.
Think quick! When someone throws a ball to us, we can catch it quickly. But how does our brain process this fast-moving object in time for us to catch it? The answer is way more out there than you might think. Hi, I'm Hinze, and I study how humans see into the future. Our brain needs time to process what we see, for this information to be sent from our eyes to our brain, and then for our brain to tell our hands to catch or hit the ball. This process is often not quick enough for us to catch a fast-moving object. So why are we still able to do that? So we can use this eye tracker to study the eye movements that people make when they look at moving objects. When a person is looking at a ball on a screen, we notice that they move their eyes actually to where the ball is going to be, instead of to where the ball is. But did you know that the brain actually makes us see the ball where it's going to be? Yes, that's right. So your brain uses the trajectory of the ball to work out where it's going to be and gives us an image of the ball in the future, allowing us to catch it. If it didn't do this, we wouldn't be able to catch it, as our brain can't process the movement of the ball fast enough. So why is it so hard for us to swat a fly, even though a fly moves much more slowly? The answer? Because the movement of the fly, unlike the ball, is unpredictable. We see the fly coming towards us, our brain then gives us an image of the fly where it expects it to be, and we swat. And miss, because the fly ended up flying in a different direction, so our brain was showing us the fly where it never actually was. Aren't our brains amazing? And to go one step further, our brains can actually go back into the past and rewrite history. When we see a fast-moving object, our brain doesn't process the visual information all at once. Like this baseball player, our brain processes color quickest, followed by movement, and finally form or shape. But we never actually see the baseball player like this. So how does our brain compensate for this processing delay? It actually looks into the past. Once our brain processes the form of an object or a person, it takes that information of color and movement that it already has and fills it in to give us the full image. So next time you go out to catch a ball, you'll know all about the amazing processes going on in your head to help you out. Most of the time.
I got it! I got it! Ooh, seem to be doing this wrong. All I'm catching is the present. Get it? Oh, tough crowd. Anyway, if that joke was stale, it's got nothing on these ancient galactic particles.
NASA's unique gamma-ray space telescope, nicknamed Fermi, has found the source of high-energy particles called neutrinos from outside our galaxy. The neutrinos came from the eruption of a supermassive black hole, which shot out the particles at nearly the speed of light. Cut to 3.7 billion years later, and they finally reached Earth. Now that's what I call a long ride.
The sun is a powerful heat-generating device, and we're already using solar energy in our homes. You can even cook food with the sun. Yes, really. To make this solar oven, you'll need a cardboard box, polystyrene foam, scissors, tape, aluminium foil, ruler, glue, clear plastic sheets, black construction paper, adult help. For this version, we're using a polystyrene foam box. This forms the insulated layer inside your oven. You can also use pieces of polystyrene cut to size. First, cut the black paper to fit the bottom of the box. Next, line the inside of the box with aluminium foil so that it is completely covered. Glue in place. Now, glue the black paper to the bottom. Next, take your plastic sheets and measure the size of the box top. You want to make it like an oven window to allow the sun to enter the oven without hot air escaping, and so you can see your food cooking. Time to make the lid. Cut a piece of cardboard to cover the opening of the box. You also want a flap on each side. Cover with aluminium foil, gluing in place. Then attach the lid to your cardboard box. Now you're ready to insert the polystyrene box. Use your ruler to prop up the lid at the right angle to capture the sun and reflect it down into the cooking chamber. Now put it to the test. A scrambled egg for lunch, thank you. Place the oven in direct sunlight and monitor it. You can check the temperature with a digital thermometer. Time for lunch. Careful when removing the dish, it will be very hot. This oven has the potential to reach up to 100 degrees Celsius on a really hot day. So how does it work exactly? Solar energy, or the rays of light that are coming from the sun. The aluminium foil reflects the rays and bounces them directly into the opening of the box. Once it's gone through the plastic window, these rays heat up the air that's trapped inside. The black paper absorbs the heat at the bottom of the oven, and the polystyrene foam insulation makes sure that the heat stays where it is instead of escaping out the sides. This trapped heat is then able to warm up your food. With solar energy, we can make our own working oven. So why not try some different combinations and see what tasty treats you can create?
If you want to try that DIY app yourself, then you can check out all the details on our website.
Next up, we'll be transported with VR tech and growing buildings from mushrooms. Impossible? Well, apparently not.
Today we've been immersing ourselves in the latest and greatest tech and trying to imagine what the future may hold. We've explored the fourth dimension, time, and now it's time for us to scale that back to 3 dimensions and 360 degrees.
Exploring space, hanging out with dinosaurs, or visiting cities on the other side of the planet. It's all possible thanks to technology giving us a whole new window to the world.
But how are these worlds created in the first place? Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Alex, and today we're going to show you how we create virtual reality and augmented reality in 360 degrees and 3D space.
Virtual reality, or VR, is when you are completely immersed in a virtual world. You can put on a VR headset and be transported into another place through sight and sound. Augmented reality, or AR, takes what you experience in the real world and uses technology to enhance it. You can use a mobile device or an AR headset to experience and interact with it.
So you can explore events and places from anywhere in the world.
To do this, we begin by using a floor plan to work out where we want to take our images. This allows us to make sure we're able to get shots of all the areas we want to show.
Then it's time to get started.
To begin, we set up our camera on the tripod and spend a minute or so ensuring that everything for the shot is in the right spot. We then stand behind the camera and take the images in one direction before spinning the camera clockwise 90 degrees and continuing to take the images until we've done a full 360 spin.
When we want to film in 360-degree video, this camera can do the job thanks to 6 separate lenses.
These lenses are the same distance apart as your eyes, so when we stitch the video together later, you can actually view the images in stereoscopic or 3D, just like you do in real life.
If we want to include aerial shots, we can also send up the drone to get aerial 360-degree photos and video.
To capture a 360-degree photo, the drone is flown to a particular point in the sky. We then use software to hold that position as the drone rotates around, capturing the shot.
Then it's time to head back to the office where the hard work really begins.
Here, we use software to find common points between the images, known as control points, to stitch and combine the images together. We then include links that allow the user to move to the next image, making it easy for them to navigate the site.
Then our virtual tour is ready to be explored.
So far, we've created tours like this for universities, zoos, and even sporting grounds. We're also using similar computer techniques to create augmented reality apps and virtual reality games, just like this one.
So thanks to all of this amazing tech, we're able to create a new way to experience the world without even leaving your house.
Here's something intriguing. Some scientists are looking into making meat patties without any cows. What? 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 In 2013, scientist Mark Post harvested some muscle stem cells from a living cow. Then, over a period of years, he fed them so they multiplied and formed strips of muscle. He then ground them down with breadcrumbs and beetroot juice to give them a fleshy look. But why? Why?
Australian beef is hard on the climate. Cattle burp and fart, producing a lot of methane, which is a greenhouse gas with a global warming effect around 25 times greater than CO2.
So this lab-based meat and other plant alternatives might be the future of burgers. But what about the future of buildings?
We use all kinds of materials to build things. Bricks, concrete, wood. But what if we could use mushrooms?
Hi, I'm Chen.
And I'm John. And today we're going to show you how a type of mushroom can become a building.
Time for some fun, fungi facts. Mushrooms are able to be a durable building material because of their mycelium. Mycelia are the root-like fibres of fungi which grow beneath the surface of the ground. They appear as frost-like growth beneath leaves and bark, and they grow into a dense network of sprouting mushrooms. These architects are working with a biologist, Dr. Rebecca. She's growing fungi that will be used to grow their building prototypes. So what does a fungus need to thrive? A dark, room temperature environment. With the right conditions, fungi grow really easily, so there will never be a shortage of mycelia to use for building prototypes.
So now, how do we grow this into buildings?
We grow our fungi onto a structure by making a structure or substrate that the fungi eat. Fungi needs food or cellulose to feed off so it can grow. Fungi can feed off plant materials or plant waste. We make our substrate out of sawdust. As architects, we design this sawdust structure carefully, as it will eventually become our mushroom building and must be engineered so it is strong and fire resistant.
We then let the mycelium feed on the sawdust and then grow onto structure or mold.
The fibres of mycelium bind the fungi tightly together into one network as it grows. And the finished mushroom building prototype looks like this. We then air dry for 2 weeks. Dried mycelium can form an incredibly strong material that is not only water resistant, but also fire and mold resistant. Drying this mycelium-built structure means the fungi will cease to grow, remaining rigid in the structure shape we designed.
So why would we want buildings made from mushrooms?
The fusion of biology and architecture is so exciting for the future of our planet. Just think how sustainable and environmentally friendly it would be to have buildings made out of a natural and abundant organic material.
Just think what our future cities could look like. Skyscrapers made of fungi.
Buildings that are part of nature.
We better get designing.
Jump on your hoverboard because it's time to teleport through the wormhole back in time to see the episode that was.
Think quick! We saw how our eyes predict the future. We went on a mission to save our mate Outback Joe, and we put a robot through its gaming paces.
If you want to travel back into the future with us, you can see all that again on our website. Or you can join us again next time, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary under the scope.